We're on.
I told you those people that did the work that he took the right.
Yep.
It's like, wait a minute. Is that their name?
Ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the April 21st, 2026 Township of Fairfield Board of Adjustment meeting. This is our regular scheduled meeting. I have the call for a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Moriano.
Yes. Good morning.
Arnie.
How you doing?
Good. Mr. Honorata. Mr. Batallo.
Here.
Mr. Baskinger.
Here.
Mr. Lapari.
Here.
Mr. Carmagnola.
Here.
Mr. Iania.
Here.
Mr. Ivorone.
Here.
Mr. Fiatarolo.
Here.
Chairman Travato.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it a little minute. Let it be known that adequate notice of time and date of this meeting was posted in the lobby of the municipal building and delivered to the Star Ledger and the Progress. No case will be allowed to start its presentation after 11 p.m. We have our attorney is Lou Rago, secretary Steve Burry, and our recording secretary is hearing the case remotely, and she'll be taking the minutes. Like a motion for approval of the minutes of the regular meeting.
Make a motion.
Lenny Iania.
I'll second. Second?
Second, Brian Baskinger.
Mr. Moriano.
Yes.
Mr. Metallo.
Yes.
Mr. Baskinger.
Yes.
Mr. Iania.
Yes.
Mr. Ivorone.
Yes.
Mr. Fiatarolo.
Yes.
Mr. Lapari.
Yes.
Chairman Travato.
Yes. And on to new business, application 2026, One Estate of Irene Sorrecchio. Teresa Reversa is the executor.
Steve, we okay on notice?
Yes.
Okay. If you could raise your right hand, please. Down, raise your right hand. With regard to this application, do you swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth?
Yes.
Could you state your name and spell your last name, please?
Teresa Reverso, R-I-V-E-R-S-O.
And you're the executrix of the estate of Sorrecchio?
Irene Sorrecchio.
And she was your
Mom.
mom. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Ms. Sorrecchio.
Is this a non-conforming use or an A? Section 68?
Prior to 68, yes.
So it's, I just want to make sure, because on the application, it says an A, an appeal.
Yeah, but it's a certificate.
Okay. What I would like you to do is, as we discussed, well, let me ask you some questions and we'll take this through. Did your mother and father own a house at 410 Horseneck Road?
Yes.
Okay. When did they buy that house?
May 3rd, 1971.
Okay. And what was the use? Single family?
Single family home, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Okay. Prior to that, in 1969, is it your understanding that the zone changed so that that house was no longer a permitted use in this zone?
Correct.
Okay. Did your parents, now, were your parents aware of that when they bought the house?
No, they were not aware of that, the zone had changed. We didn't find that until we had listed the house and the local came in.
Okay, so in 1969, the zone changed. Your parents bought it as a 4-bedroom, single-family house. Today, is that in the same use?
Yes.
4 bedrooms, single-family house. In between from 1969 to now, did they do any major renovations, any additions, any decks, anything like that?
No, no major renovations. There might have been, well, the deck was been fixed, like you replaced wood.
It was maintained.
Maintained, yes,
Okay. To this day, is that still the use?
yes,
Okay. And your parents have both passed?
yes.
And what you're seeking from this board, and I understand the house is under contract to sell, and that either the buyer or the bank or both are gonna want something from Fairfield indicating that there's been no change in the use from 1969 to now, therefore it's a protected non-conforming use. Okay. Have I missed anything major? I mean, anything? And the people know, well, the new buyers, if they want to do anything different with the house, and it's not your responsibility, they need to talk to their own lawyer. If they want to change the house or make it larger, they would need to come to this board. But that's not in front of us now, so it's just
Nothing that I'm aware of, I think that's
Okay.
been.
And between 69 and now, when your parents were living there, did they ever move out for any length of time? Did they ever abandon the house? Did they ever just give up on it?
Nope, raised 6 kids there, nope,
Okay.
did not move out.
Okay. That's all I have. I just wanted to bring out the points that the law requires, which to me seems pretty straightforward. But the board can ask questions if they want.
Yeah. Is there anybody from the board that has questions?
The only thing I would ask is, I'm sure it was built before 1969. Do you have any idea what year it was built?
It was in the paperwork, I want to say, on the listing, hold on, let's see if it's on here. Actually, I think it's in the application, it was 1940.
Yeah, so it's quite old. I
Yeah.
just wanted to get to the fact that it wasn't a house that was 6 months old, or
Oh,
it
no.
was built
no,
way
no.
before.
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Mr. Morgan.
think about the seller that sold the house to your parents. Were they residents of that house?
Yes, the gentleman was, he had passed away and his nephew inherited the home and he sold it.
And do you know how long your parents' seller lived in the house?
I don't, that I'm not familiar with.
I thank you.
His nephew may have lived there as well, because I know he was there when he sold the house to my parents.
All right, thank you.
House was built in the 40s.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes,
just want to
Mr. Barry.
acknowledge that the applicant brought some decent proofs, deeds from the purchase in 1971. There's some construction permits that go back to '07, and some tax cards that all of the documentation all the way through the years has said residential and been treated both by the applicant's family and by the town as residential.
Yeah, I agree. It appears that the house has always been residential since it's, was built, so.
And I wanted the board and the applicant know, I think we do know that the zoning officer only has 1 year from the date of the zone change to issue a certificate on their own. After 1 year, it's got to come to the board. So Mr. LaPerry had no recourse other than to say, uh-oh.
I was 6.
You were saying?
I was 6 years old with that.
All right.
Oh, no recourse now.
Yeah, no, now you couldn't have given it. So that's why we're here.
Well, based on all the information we've received and read, I think that it's clearly an application where it's been a residential, it's consistent in its use throughout the years. So I myself don't have any problem with approving this. Anybody else have a comment? That being said, could I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Mr. LaParry, second, Mr. Moriano.
Um,
No conditions, we don't deal with conditions on this type of an application.
And I assume with Mr. Honorata is not here this evening, that Mr. Iania will be voting. I think that's it. Okay. Mr. Moriano,
Yes.
Mr. Metallo,
Yes.
Mr. Baskinger,
Yes.
Mr. Lapari,
Yes.
Mr. Carmagnola,
Yes.
Mr. Iania,
Yes.
Chairman Travato.
Yes.
That's it.
That's-
You will be receiving a written resolution for purposes, so you can tell the buyer and/or their attorney that you came here. If the attorney wants to call me or the town hall, we will confirm what happened, and they should be okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome, thank you.
You didn't mind my guiding her through that?
Absolutely
No,
not.
because we would have.
Mr. Chairman? I have a question in regards to what you said about so the zoning, if a zone was to change, the zoning officer has 1 year to what? Get a CO the CO for the property?
If someone, like in this applicant's case, has property and it's no longer permitted in the zone, if I'm a buyer and wanna buy it, and let's say the zone just changed, like last week, Tony would have, good night, within a year, a zoning officer would have the authority on his or her own to issue the certificate. The theory being, it was very recent, I'm familiar with everything, let's just do it. But after a year, an applicant has to go to zoning. In most of these cases, the vast majority, you're talking many years. In this case was 69.
What type of certificate? C of O?
No,
Certificate of non-conformance for its zone.
Yeah. If I'm a buyer and this house is not permitted in this zone, and I'm gonna use it as a residence, I want something in writing from somebody saying it's okay. I'm not gonna move in and Tony's telling me to, take a hike. Or a bank, before I lend money, I wanna make sure that I'm lending money on a permitted use. So this is the way, and we don't do many of these, it's under, section 68 of the MLU. And it allows us to do exactly what we did, and then she can take that resolution, or if she needs a quickie letter from somebody, she can take that, the bank's comfortable, the buyer's comfortable that they're loaning money on a permitted use. It gets tricky, a lot of these, this was very easy.
Right.
It's when you have, someone bought the house like a year ago, and there's 5 previous owners. You don't know what they did or didn't do, or whether they abandoned the house, but this was a piece of cake. Her parents had been there for many years.
Yeah.
Brian, you know where it
The
gets,
reason why I ask is because I own a property that the zoning changed about 3 times. So I don't know where I would stand if I was to sell it one day.
Is
Yeah.
it still permitted?
No.
Oh.
no, it's not, no, well, I was gonna bring up as an example, the difficult, the agricultural to residential is not that difficult. But when you had residential up against the highway and the highway development zone came into effect, all those houses that are on Route 46, if they don't have certificate of non-conformance or prior conformance, then they're gonna have to come
Right, when
here.
They go to sell,
They have to come here because,
And just like I would have to do.
right,
Or it gets tricky if, in this case, if the house changed hands 5 times since her parents bought it, and there was an illegal dentist's office in there, then you gotta go through what happened when. But the bottom line is, when the ordinance changed and made that use not permitted, that's what's protected, nothing else in between.
even legal. If that single-family home on Route 46 was a single-family residence from the zone change in the HD in 69 all the way to 90.
Right.
Then in 1990, we all know that a printing company went into that house.
Right.
They lose their residential status.
Yeah, and I'm hoping, I talked to Rich, I'm hoping, prior to the meeting, I chatted with her, she was very nice, and I wanted to make sure, to me, it seemed like a no-brainer. and I wanted to, that's why I basically took over the question to get her from point A to point B really quickly, because there was nothing to block it, or, to stop
It's
it.
pretty much a one-family use.
Yeah, with the same owner.
I mean, in a case where the house was abandoned for several years,
Then they would lose the protection, then
They would
have
lose that
to-
resident, whatever use they want, original use they had, they're gonna lose that if it was
they would-
abandoned.
And so if they wanted to use it again as a single family, they'd need a use variance. She'd be in front of us, and a lot of times, someone would come in for what she did, and at the same time file for a use variance. So if they get hammered on this, or if we can't sort out what happened between this point in time and this point in time, then they're right there, and we say, no, it's not clear, then they can apply for a use variance. But that happens at times, so you have a backup. And then the tricky part for a zoning officer is to determine whether it's, because abandonment under the law has a lot of different, there's intent, there's time elapsed, there's all kinds of things. And, someone who goes to Florida for 6 months, do you lose it? Maybe, maybe not, depending on the circumstances. So that's a tough call for a zoning officer.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, Mr. Rego. Mr. Metallo and I were briefly talking about it. For this type of application where we know they weren't going for a change, asking for a change of use, is it absolutely necessary? Isn't this type of application something that Tony could rule on?
Only if this happened when Tony was six years old?
Yeah.
No, if it happened last month, and this woman came in, Tony would have 11 more months, Tony could make the change on his own.
Okay.
But the legislature wanted, it's just an arbitrary 1 year, after the 1 year, a zoning officer cannot issue it on his or her own. It's gotta come to the board.
Excuse me, 1 year after what?
After the zone change. So this would have been, the zone change in '69.
Yeah.
She would have
After
had to be-
70, all bets are off.
And he was almost that size when he was 6. No, so you got the year.
But I'm saying.
Well, there's no magic to it, it's just the legislature had to pick a day.
I'm just curious, and just, for me, I'm always, in my opinion, always looking out to streamline certain
Yeah.
things for the homeowners. And in this case, she's dealing with an estate, and, I don't know if time is of the essence for her or not.
Well, the house is under contract.
Okay.
Now, Tony, if you had the authority to do it based on what you knew and what you know, would you?
I can't, I have
No,
this
if,
one.
if legally it was permissible for you to do that based on what you heard.
Yeah, I would do it,
Yeah,
and
this would
I could investigate this stuff and not drag these people, like Lenny's saying here, but years ago, Marty, we had some of them, and we went to the attorneys, I don't know whether it was you at the time or Martin at the time or whoever it was, but we said, can't we just not do this? Like, this is terrible.
know.
And they said, no, the law is the law, they have to come
One
in.
town I know wanted to, by ordinance, the state statute rules, that says 1 year. One town, that's kind of out of it half the time, they passed an ordinance extending that to 10 years. And they came to me, off the record, they came to me, I didn't represent them, and I said, you can't do that. It's nice, it's a nice thought, but you can't expand on the state statute. They control, not local ordinances. But no, it's 1 year, for better or worse. And I've never seen a person do that within a year, because they don't know.
Municipal ordinance can be more stringent than state ordinance. It can't be less stringent.
If the state statute allows a municipality some flexibility, yes.
Okay.
But otherwise, you gotta follow, that's where our ordinances come from, the state statutes.
Okay.
But where they permit, like, you're allowed to define your, major and minor site plan, you give some leeway, because most towns do it by the number of lots, major site plan. So there's some leeway there. Some towns, if it's 2 lots, 3 lots is a major, that kind of thing. But most of the time, you got to follow the statute.
Thank you.
Not to beat this to death, but if I wasn't selling the home, could I go to the zoning officer and ask for a certificate if it was within that year, or it's only if you sell it?
No, you can get, in fact, I would, even if you don't wanna sell it, if you knew it changed and you were within the year, I'd get that certificate, put it in my pocket. And
Yeah, right.
So if anybody wants to buy it.
Yeah.
Ron, I gotta charge you for this.
And you have to take that application to Montville.
You could bill it to the town.
Mr. Chairman, what I really think
Yes,
is the
Marty.
town should have a reduced rate for the filing of this application. I really believe that.
Now they're pointing at you.
You know, it's tough.
Reduced rate.
I don't know how much the application is.
No, the thing, Marty, is I've been involved in session 68 before other boards that have been a nightmare. Because the people, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to her, I've seen people come in without attorneys and not have a clue. They don't know what they're supposed to say, and it all winds up on the record, and it's a mess. You know, they have to come back 2 or 3 nights. I've seen lawyers who are not that savvy in land use come in with documentation, and you say, what are you telling us this for? You know, a sewer easement from 1921, who cares? You know, but and so they can be weird. I mean, they can be nasty, and it takes some time, especially for our planner, for a planner to dig through this. This was one of the easiest ones, the most straightforward one we had. It was easy. One owner, boom, 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 believable, residents of the town for a long time. But there are these that really, I mean, I'm in litigation on one right now in another town over a Kmart. I mean, these get tricky. They can. So,
Is it, if it, in a residential zone, are they notified when there's a zone change?
that's the thing. I mean, unless you read the papers or the website anymore, which a lot of people don't, you know, they're not anal about zoning. If you don't know it, then which is one of the tricks. I mean, you don't know what's going on.
You don't know until you know.
Yeah.
So there's no notice within the,
Well, if there's a zone change, you're supposed to notice certain people within certain distances, or if you're doing a master plan review or reexamination where you don't need notice. A lot of people just don't know. They get something in mail from the municipality and they're scared. You know, they figure it's a tax bill and they don't even look at it. You know, they just rip it up and throw it away. But most people don't know, and they don't know when the year starts. They don't know what the law is, which most board members that I work with are unaware of the intricacies of all this. But
Believe it or not, zoning didn't really become technical until around the 60s. I mean, that's why in Clifton and Nutley, you'll see a residential section and there's a bar on the corner.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
those
they
are all
started,
pre-existing non-conforming
yeah,
uses.
and usually,
Or gas stations are classic.
oh,
Gas-
yeah.
You go to Morristown, not one gas station in Morristown is legal. I mean, they're all there now, they're okay, but they all needed certificates because they were built a long time ago. The mom and pop bar on the corner that everybody goes to, those have been there forever. And
I mean, typically, the zone changes now aren't super drastic. They may go from, like, you have all the overlay zones, so you may get notified that your industrial use or your commercial use is also an overlay.
Yeah.
So it adds to your benefit.
And it's a 200-foot notice?
I think it's a whole zone notice,
A whole
and
zone notice.
anybody that's.
Anybody
noticed-
within the zone.
it
Yeah.
depends on that, and then you got rehabilitation ordinances. It gets really tricky.
Then all the other zone changes are like, we had light industrial 1, and then there's a reason, well, we're gonna add a light industrial 2. And then for Pia Costa, they did a light industrial 3.
Yeah.
And there's little changes, but it still kind of fits the program. The residential 1 zone is almost everywhere, but there's an R2 zone that goes down on the houses on Big Piece that have those super long properties that touch the river.
Yeah.
And they're much more restrictive on where you could build and the size of the R2.
How about
But it's still
Do they
residential.
flood? I mean, down there? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? Also, Tony, you brought up Big Piece.
Yeah.
What about, I'm sorry, Big Piece or Horse Neck? did you
Horse
say?
Neck.
Big Piece I brought up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what, some of those houses look like they have 2 structures, other than a garage on the property that or way back in the
Way
woods?
back, yeah, those are old, and a lot of those became R2 zone.
Very good.
No, this was good. This was,
Yeah, I sat through two of the changes, not real, I never knew I could get a certificate.
what do you think that's worth, though?
Oh.
Is this property in Belleville or somewhere else?
Yeah.
I mean, Belleville.
Fairfield.
Fairfield or somewhere else? Talk to Tony.
That's what I hear.
Actually, I
No,
just-
if it's within the year, definitely, now that you know about it, get it and put it in your pocket.
I gotta go get one for Belleville.
As far as discussion items, we have, did everybody receive their annual report?
Yes.
Does anybody have any comments on that? All right, miscellaneous.
Yeah, this is required by law. It's a report that the zoning board puts together at the end of the year for the previous year, just a snapshot of what we did, and it goes to the governing body and the planning board. Also, I don't see it here, if there's anything that we see that, maybe we're looking at things and we can recommend maybe a zone change. I work in one town, everyone comes in, developers come in with 3 bedrooms and a den, or a study, or an office, and sometimes that's abused, it turns into a bedroom. So on our annual report last year, we put the governing body should look in better defining that, so we're not dealing with 4 bedrooms and an office that turns into a bedroom, and they came up with some suggestions, like no doors on the room, no closets, no windows, so
Didn't
to
we
make
do
it,
that at, Kingsbridge? On the units?
I don't know. But there are,
Planning board would.
there are abuses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
There
think the
are,
planning board did it on Kingsbridge.
when you hear 3 bedrooms and an office, what else they use? Office, study, rec room, all those things that maybe turn into a bedroom. So you try to, and it's gotta be in the ordinance, so there's some teeth to it.
Can I ask a question? Can you limit the square footage?
Probably to, I'm not sure what that town did, cause I mean, you know,
Of that particular.
of that room? Yeah, well, you can do, I mean, I don't think you can have a bedroom with no windows, I'm not sure. Tony would, can you? But yeah, those
Yeah.
things, no closets, no internal bathrooms, no doors.
Make it as unappealing as possible.
Yeah, well, you want it to be, if someone says, I'm gonna put my computer in there, then you don't need a closet or a bathroom, you just put your computer in. You might be able, as long as it's reasonable, like maybe a 10 by 15, well,
10 by 10?
10 by 10, yeah.
We have high levels in town that have 10 by 10 bedrooms.
Okay. You might be able to squeak by with that, to nail it down. So if we see anything over the course of a year, that we think the governing body should look at, the planning board, in terms of ordinance changes, this is the vehicle that we can let them know, but I don't,
We had a couple of, like,
over the years.
like, we used to allow only 8-foot garages. Now we allow 9-foot, because people were coming in because the electrician who puts his van in the garage, lives at home, 1 truck operation, needed to fit it. So they would come and ask for a variance for a foot. They changed the
Or the-
ordinance to a 9-foot.
Yeah.
off of
Or the
board's
family
suggestion.
that needs one of those vans for a invalid, or one of their family members needs that big van with the elevator on the side, or whatever you call it. Those, and you don't deny those, so you might as well
Yeah, I
make
think,
it 9 feet.
like Tony said, I think our ordinance changed to 9 foot. So,
Yeah, we've had a couple of
Especially
those.
since the house has got so big and
Yeah.
grand, I mean, it doesn't shut, a 9-foot door on a big house doesn't look out of place.
Yeah, cars are a little bit different these days.
all right, can I have a motion to pay the bills?
Make a motion.
Second.
Lenny Iania, Tony LaParry, second.
Mr. Mariano,
Yes?
Mr. Metallo,
You still have your.
Mr. Baskinger,
Yeah.
Mr. Lapari,
Yes.
Mr. Carmignola,
Yes.
Mr. Iania,
Yes.
Mr. Ivorone? Mr. Fiatarolo? Chairman Travato?
Yes.
Should we mention about 7 o'clock start?
Yeah, just a reminder.
Yeah.
If you recall from last meeting, you guys voted to switch the meetings to a start time of 7 o'clock. So we should be able to get that posted and have that start. There's nobody's advertised for 7:30, so it's a good month to switch. So just remember, 7 o'clock for the May meeting.
The window on ending the meeting, are we taking it from 11
8 o'clock.
to 10:30?
I don't, whatever we voted on, it
I
should be in
don't
there.
remember.
According to the minutes, I think it says we agreed to 10:30.
Yeah.
That would make sense. We rarely go.
That's
more
just
than-
for the start of an application.
Yes,
Of the next
yes.
witness.
Right.
Right,
No witnesses taken after, whatever.
right, 10:30. So
Right.
we'll modify the calendar. Jennifer will send it out and reminder, and hopefully we can all adjust.
Do you give special, Chairman, do you give special dispensation to us if we forget once early, show up at 7:30? Hey, guys.
Get the phone call.
On the dot.
Maybe Jen could, for the next meeting, Steve, maybe Jen could highlight 7 PM.
Yeah.
We'll do our best.
We'll do, you know,
Belleville's off.
have a motion to adjourn.
Motion. I make a motion.
Rocco, Ferriola, Rich,
Yeah,
all
talk
in
to me.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Belleville. Litigation. It's, we got Willie Vaughn, I don't know if you know Willie.
Yeah, it was on the board.
Willie's been the chair. He wanted it last year for just 1 year.
Yeah.